an airplane called Cessna 182 from a hangar to escape the police. It's only one of 5 airplanes that he would steal throughout his career on the run. Along with
Welcome to CSL TV, and I just hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is just a review, a reaction, as well as an informational channel. So hopefully the informational part help you and someone out, and we just gonna watch some videos and talk about them. And if you've been rocking with your boy, I just gotta say thank you so much, because you could be somewhere else watching these videos, but yet you decide to watch them with CSL TV. So with that being said, because I don't want to make this intro too long, let's get it.
Little bitch. He's following me. Slice your throat.
This story out of Arizona is disturbing, and heads up, the footage might be hard to watch. It all started at this supermarket in Phoenix when somebody called the cops about a drunk man causing trouble inside the store.
What's going on there?
There's a man with a knife, and he's drunk, and he's assaulting the customers.
And is he threatening anybody with it?
Yes, he is. He hasn't threatened with the knife yet, but he is armed.
Is he inside or outside with the store?
He's inside right now, and he's threatening them.
Security camera footage captures the guy with the knife at checkout and approaching some people in the store. Soon after, he leaves as another cam spots him going up to a car in the parking lot. An officer soon arrives on the scene, and when she parks her car, she confronts the drunk guy.
Drop the knife. No. Put it on the ground. I'm gonna you up. Put it on the ground.
The drunk guy then turns his attention to someone else in the parking lot.
Get your fucking face on. He's threatening people. I need another unit now.
As the cop tries to get the guy to drop his weapon.
Put the knife down. Shut your fucking mouth. No. Put the knife down.
The guy begins to approach the cop.
Put the knife down. Shut up. Put the knife down. Shut up. Put the knife down. Shut up. Put the knife down. Put the knife down. I'm so serious. Put the knife down. Put the knife down. Put it on the ground. Sit.
And from there, things escalate even more. Reminder, this footage is upsetting. The drunk guy continues circling the officer around the squad car.
Really? Sit on the ground. No. Yes. No, shoot me. Yeah. Shoot me. I'll put it on the ground. I'll kill you, stupid little bitch. He's following me. Slice your fucking throat. I need another unit.
The cop tries to get the guy to drop the weapon once more.
What? Put it on the ground. What on the ground? Put it, the knife. What on the ground? Put the knife on the mouth.
And he continues to run towards the cop.
Shut up. Put the knife on the ground. Shut
The officer then opens fire, and the guy drops to the ground.
998. 998. Put the knife.
He winces in pain,
Hey! Get on. Stay on the ground.
and soon after, he's put in cuffs and given medical attention. This all went down in 2020, and fortunately, nobody besides the drunk guy got injured in this exchange. It's not entirely clear what led to the man's violent outburst, and he was later charged with several counts of aggravated assault.
Now, this is crazy for the simple fact, why you got a knife going at the police officer wanting her to shoot you? And then you up here saying, come on, and calling her names and stuff for no reason, like that's called for. But hey, COVID was here around that time, as COVID is still here around this time. And you know what type of mental things COVID have done, you know, to people and how people look at COVID. So I'm pretty sure with all these strikes, the prices of everything, of how it's going up, there's going to be more people having more mental, you know, situations.
This is the legendary disappearance of the FBI's most wanted 16-year-old, Colton Harris Moore, aka the Barefoot Bandit. Before becoming the most wanted 16-year-old in the world, Colton had a rough time growing up. He lived with an alcoholic mother and an absent father. By the age of 15, he was kicked out of the house and was living in a tent in the woods. Having to scrounge and steal for food was a regular thing for Colton, but pretty soon he was stealing more than just food. Pretty soon his life would turn upside down when the FBI busted through a door to his mom's house with a warrant for his arrest. Colton had been committing identity theft. Inside his tent in the woods, the FBI found a hoard of treasure: laptops, boxes of jewelry, credit cards, driver's licenses, and checkbooks, but no Colton. His first time on the lam wouldn't last very long, however. He continued to rob houses to survive, and one day
That's crazy and sad to hear that, you know. He didn't have nobody to basically love him, so as we all see, when you don't have that proper love, most of the time people show this type of, how can I say this? They character get developed into something like this. And this is all why it's good to practice love, being nice to people, you know what I'm saying? Not fucking being an asshole because you having a bad day, because you never know. You could bleed on somebody else and they already at this point, and now you done made them go to something they never thought they would be, or do things they never thought they would think of doing. So y'all need to practice being nice to people, even if you're having a shitty day. But somebody else's day could be shittier. He was living a tough life.
And one day he was caught in the act by the police and he was arrested. He was sentenced to 3 years at a maximum security juvenile jail, but that didn't last very long. After breaking out, Colton was on the run for a second time, but this chase would be a lot wilder than his first. He once stole a single-engine airplane called Cessna 182 from a hangar to escape the police. As crazy as stealing an airplane sounds, Colton was 16 at the time and had no previous aviation experience, unless you count the hours he spent playing Microsoft Flight Simulator as a kid. Yet somehow he managed to fly 300 miles, crash land the aircraft, and escape before authorities could arrive. When police searched the plane, all they found were his footprints inside the cockpit. This was only one of 5 airplanes that he would steal throughout his career on the run, along with 19 cars and several boats. And by this time, Colton was done. He was the prime suspect for approximately 100 thefts throughout Washington, Idaho, and Canada. He was widely considered a genuine 21st century outlaw. As his exploits got crazier and crazier, his fans would only grow in size, with thousands of them on Facebook making videos about him, memes, and even t-shirts. Eventually, he was given the name the Barefoot Bandit, thanks to his habit of committing crimes while barefoot and sometimes leaving footprints behind. This was a nickname that he would grow to accept, doing such brazen acts like the time that he drew a cartoonish-looking feet at the scene of his crime with a taunting "see ya" to the police, or the time that he had dropped $100 cash at a veterinary clinic and a handwritten note that said, "Drove by, had some extra cash. Please use this money for the care of the animals. Colton Harris Moore, aka the Barefoot Bandit." After being on the run for 2 years, Colton decided that it was finally time to disappear for good and flee the country to Cuba, where he would not be extradited to the USA. So he stole a plane, like he often did, but managed to make it as far as the Bahamas, where he once again crash-landed. He found his way to a nearby fishing village, where he survived for several days by stealing food from nearby stores and restaurants.
He managed to keep it level somehow. As you can see, the nose is in the grass. He got out of that plane reportedly uninjured and headed into the island.
Everything was fine until, I kid you not, Colton actually went up to a local and told them to call the police because he was bored and he wanted to be chased. He got chased alright, but this time he didn't escape. He was extradited to the United States, where he was sentenced to 7 years in prison. In prison, Colton sold the rights to his story for $1.4 million. However, according to a court order, it was used as restitution to his victims. So he's never been allowed to make any money from selling the rights to his story. And so came the end of the Barefoot Bandit.
Then the crazy thing about his story is how knowledgeable this kid was. How fucking smart and brilliant he was. Figuring out how to ride planes and do all this and that stuff. You know what I'm saying? That stuff takes time. You can't just fucking pick the shit up and boom, you doing it. No, you gotta have some type of sense to know what you're doing, because if you don't, you ain't even gonna start or go nowhere. Yo, it's just gonna be stationary. You feel me? So it's just sad to see that, you know, kids with this much talent, they life dictate their future, you know, and man,